What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be talking about the security tab of the WP Optimix plugin. Now, as you can see here, my security level is only at 38, so I probably need to enable some features and boost up the security of my website. So let's go into the security tab here and see what we can implement. One of the coolest features of this plugin is the single-click secure login. So now when you have a WordPress site, you go to your website name and then you just put /WP admin or WP-login.php. And that is where you log in. Now, any hacker knows that a WordPress site has these login functions, so they can just come to your page, and if they know your admin panel, which by default is usually admin, they can just start guessing passwords and try and get into the back end of your system, delete everything, and cause a lot of havoc. Now, you don't want that, right? I mean, what we're going to do by implementing this single-click secure login is actually get rid of this whole login page itself. And we're going to access our dashboard a different way with an encrypted link that the plugin is going to send us. And I'll show you how that works here in a second. But after we enable the plugin, we're going to hide that login page I just showed you, and we're also going to auto regenerate. Now, what auto regenerate does is each time that you log into your website, it's going to create a different login link for you that's going to be encrypted, secure. Only you are going to have access to it. So if you're sitting at a Starbucks and you log in your website, the person sees the link that you're using, they could potentially log in as well and screw things up. But this auto regenerate is going to generate a different login link once you log into your site. So after we've enabled the features that we want for the single click login, we're just going to go down and save. This is the most important part. Anytime you make changes within the security tab, you want to save your changes, and then it will implement those features. So let's go back to the login page here and hit enter. What it's going to do is actually not have a login page anymore. It's just going to redirect them to our main page here. So that's pretty awesome. There's no way for hackers to try and log in, get to that page, and guess your password. And here's your encrypted link. Obviously, no one could guess this. I mean, look at that. That's crazy. It's just a bunch of squiggly lines, letters, numbers, whatever. No one's going to ever guess this is where you log in. If we see some sketchy guy behind us looking at this link here, we can just regenerate it and it's going to be a completely different link itself. Now we can copy this link here, just a simple click to copy the link, and then we can save that in our bookmarks within our browser or put it in a secure place. But also what it's going to do is it's going to send us an email with that link. So we won't have to remember our passwords anymore. We can just click this link and it's going to bring us to the dashboard of our website, of our WordPress site. So it's phenomenal, guys. It's that easy to add security to your website. Let's go to the next feature of security we can implement. It's going to be the OCS firewall. Now what this is going to do is any hackers or any intruders trying to break into your site, it's just going to punch them in the face and be like, get out of here. I have the WP Optimix plugin. I don't want to deal with whatever you're trying to do. So we're just going to enable that as well. And as you can see, here's a list of the actual features it does. So you can read through that and it's pretty awesome. Let's go to the hide WordPress metadata. Now this isn't going to apply to everyone, but sometimes WordPress sites will include some metadata that's going to be a security risk for you. So if they do that, we're actually going to remove that metadata so people can't view the source and look at that metadata. And we're just going to simply do that by enabling, adding the choices we want, and again, saving your changes. Each time you make a change, you want to save it, otherwise it's not going to be implemented. Just want to emphasize on that. But I'm going to make some more changes before it actually saves. So it's, again, as simple as that. You have some additional options that you can hide WordPress metadata, and that's pretty impressive as well. Now obviously, if you guys have a WordPress site, you probably get a lot of spam comments. I get sick of reading all these spam comments. They're like, hey, great article post. That really provoked my mind. I'm like, what? I was just talking about cheese. And something like that. So I hate getting those comments, and we can easily just implement some added security to making a post. If there's going to be a link, it's not going to allow that person to post a comment with a link. So the next feature we're going to talk about is disabling the theme switching. Now if you go up to themes here, and people can really mess up your site just by changing your theme around, and if you have different users besides just yourself, you don't want them to be able to mess up your site. So we're just going to enable this theme switching, and any other person like a moderator, commenter, subscriber, anyone that's not an admin won't be able to access that theme setting anymore. So that's incredible. That's a nice feature to have. And also, one of my favorite security features within this plugin is the right click contextual menu. disabling that. So if we go over to our website, I'm in an Indigo browser here, I'm going to log out and just go to our main site. Now one of the first things hackers try to do is right click, go to page source, and they're going to view your code and see if you wrote something incorrectly that's going to allow them to hack into your site or make some SQL injections just by simply looking at your code and looking what you have set up. And they do that by just right clicking and going to view page source. Pretty easy, everyone can do this, but what we're going to do is disable this whole menu altogether so they won't even have the opportunity to view the page source. So we can again do that by just enabling this feature, saving the changes, going back to our website and reloading the page. And now I'm right clicking, nothing's popping up, it's incredible. So that's one of my favorite features of this plugin. Now the last feature within the security tab that we got going on is going to be involving the login page, and I'm going to show you a quick example of that. So I have to turn off my single click secure login here, save the changes again because I want to disable that feature. I'm going to go back to my login page for our website. So here's our login. Let's say a hacker is just trying to guess your username and guess your password. What WordPress is going to do is say, hey, that's an invalid username. So the hacker is going to know, okay, that's an invalid username. I'm going to guess a different username. I'm not going to waste any of my time changing my password for that username. But let's say they guess my actual username as of right now and guess a password. What it's going to do is say, hey, that's the incorrect password for the username Travis. So they automatically know there is a username Travis, and now they can just keep guessing passwords. So what we're going to do is actually enable this feature, this last feature, hide the login error messages, and save the changes again and go back to our site, reload it, and I'll show you how this works now. So again, I'm going to put in my username, Travis, and a guessed password, and what's going to say is wrong username or password. So the hacker's completely confused. He's like, oh man, this is going to be a pain trying to get into this site. So by enabling that feature, it gives the hacker less information to work with, which makes their job a lot harder. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty much it for the security features, but there's also a lot of other stuff that deals with security we can work with, such as regenerating your salts and keys. Now what this is going to do, your website probably has a bunch of different users like moderators, commenters, all that stuff, and let's say one of them keeps messing up. You're like, man, quit messing up. You're screwing up everything. And after a while, they just keep messing up, and you're like, okay, we aren't friends anymore. Get out of here. Then they get mad because you don't want to be friends with them anymore, and they try and start ruining your site. Now what you can do is regenerate your keys and salts, and that's just going to give them no access. It's going to kick them out, no mercy, and this is your trump card. I mean, you got everything you'll need with this regeneration. Another really important security feature is changing your database prefix. Now, a WordPress site by default has a default database prefix. Again, hackers know this, and it's going to give them a lot of opportunity to get into your database by knowing the prefix. So you can simply change the prefix of your database just by creating some letters or something that you can remember, and I've changed the prefix so hackers are going to have a harder time getting into my site. And one of the other features you probably want to implement is your username. Now if you have an admin as your username, that's terrible for security, and you definitely want to change it. So I'm going to change mine from Travis to Trav, and it's actually going to log me out after I've made that change, and then I have to log in as Trav. So just be aware of that. You're going to have to log in again, and it's as easy as that. Now my new username is Trav, not admin, not anything that hackers know. So that's a useful feature as well. Now there's a lot of other cool things that we can do within the security tab as well, such as malware scans. I found that I had some plugins that was causing malware on my website. I had no idea, and I learned that from this scan here. So I disabled and deleted those plugins. So it's nice to get some feedback about how safe your website is, and if anyone's trying to give you threats or viruses, malware code that causes potential security risks. So I'd recommend scanning your system, seeing if there's any threats or any loose ends that you can tie up with your website. You also have a reputation scan. This is going to tell you like what your reputation is, like whether your website's cool or whether it's really nerdy. Or no, it's not exactly like that. It's more like when bots go to your site, like the Google search will go to your site and see what it's about, see if there's any security risk or threats. And if there's a lot of threats on your site, Google's going to kind of eliminate that from their searches because they don't want to bring people to a site that is threatening to that person. So this will show you your perception of your website to other people like Google or whatever. So that's pretty useful to know as well, and then you can make some of those changes that you need to get a better reputation, become more cool, right? And you also have some settings as well. Now, one of my other favorite features besides disabling that menu is by far the backup feature that you have here. Now, your backup, you know you need to back up your site, especially when you're making changes, because you can royally mess things up and you want to go to a backup. So I try and back up sites when I know I'm making changes and stuff, but I should probably back it up more often than that. And this plugin allows me to automatically back up my site either by Dropbox, my FTP, or my web server. Just for example, you have to have a Dropbox account to make this happen here, but I'm just going to log into my Dropbox, and we can either have a schedule where it's going to make a backup daily, every 3 days, or weekly. So that's incredible. I just have to set it to weekly, and I don't have to remember making backups ever again because it's going to be handled for me. Now when we save this, we can make a backup, and I just for example's sake, I've already made a backup, logged into my Dropbox. Here is my backup right here, my website name, and then the date, and here's the zip file of my backed up website. So that's pretty awesome. And again, you can set this on a schedule so you don't have to remember it. But also, let's just, for example, go to the web server, and you can make 5 backups, 10 backups, however many backups you want to store on your web server. You can make that happen. Again, you have a schedule as well for weekly, monthly, whatever. And again, that's just going to be within your cPanel, your file manager, the root, and then you can go into your WP content, and it's going to be over the OX backups here. And as you can see, I have some backups already stored within here, so I can store up to like 10 backups, and then that should be fine. And again, it can happen weekly, every 3 days, or whatever you want. So again, that's an incredible feature for the security, and that's pretty much the security plugin. It's phenomenal, guys. Like, let's just check what my security ranking went from back in the reports tab. I went from like a 38 to 85, just like that. Simple as can be. Now in the next video, we're going to be talking about implementing some performance tactics to make our site a lot quicker. So thanks for watching, guys, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and I hope you're having a great day.